Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get you truly well-informed. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something pretty vital for anyone in the B2B SaaS world: lean software development. You know that feeling when your product roadmap feels, well, like a graveyard of half-built features, or your teams are constantly scrambling and customers are still asking for something else?
Yeah.
That's exactly what lean aims to tackle. Our mission today: distill the most impactful insights from articles, research, real-world experience, basically giving you a shortcut to understanding how lean can transform your B2B SaaS operations.
Right.
At its core, lean's about building exactly what your customers need, no more, no less. It cleverly applies principles from manufacturing to software.
Huh?
And for B2B SaaS, this really means ruthlessly connecting every single feature to genuine business value.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is how lean gives you this practical blueprint, for dealing with all that complexity. Exactly. For navigating, the immense complexity of building, sophisticated software in these super fast-moving B2B markets we see today, it's about solving that core problem you mentioned. How do we innovate rapidly without wasting precious resources or, and this is critical, missing the mark on what our customers genuinely need? So our exploration today, it's built on foundational insights from pioneers like Mary and Tom Popendiek, alongside lessons from successful companies like Atlassian and, a wealth of contemporary product management discussions.
Good stuff.
These sources don't just tell us what lean is, but really how it helps us thrive.
Okay, so to sort of give us a powerful lens for this deep dive, we're going to unpack the 7 foundational principles of lean software development.
The core ideas, yeah.
Exactly. And these aren't just, abstract concepts. They're actionable pillars, especially when you apply them to the unique pressures and opportunities of B2B SaaS. Let's jump straight into the first principle then: eliminate waste. Now, waste, it sounds simple, right? Anything that doesn't add value for your customer.
Seems obvious.
But in the daily grind of B2B SaaS, what does that really look like? And, well, how often are we actually missing it?
Oh, it's often subtle, but it's everywhere. Pervasive. In SaaS, waste can take so many forms, way beyond just building features nobody uses.
Like what?
Well, think about those extensive, unnecessary documentations that, frankly, no one ever reads.
Guilty.
Right? Or tasks constantly bouncing between different teams, that partially finished work just sitting idle, those nice-to-have extra features that kind of go beyond the core problem.
Feature creep?
Exactly. Constant task switching that just kills focus, or even just waiting around for approvals, and of course defects and the inevitable rework they cause. But the deeper insight here for B2B SaaS, I think, isn't just the monetary cost of waste. It's the cognitive load and organizational drag that every non-value-adding activity places on a team. That drag just slows down critical innovation for your core B2B offering. A really powerful tool to spot this is value stream mapping.
VSM, right.
Yeah, visualizing every step of your workflow, from idea to deployment. It makes those non-value-adding activities like bottlenecks or handoffs glaringly obvious. So this raises an important question, maybe for you listening. What invisible waste might you uncover in your own processes if you truly map them out?
That idea of cognitive load, that's a fantastic point. So, okay, if we're focused on ruthlessly eliminating what doesn't add value, how do we make sure the value we do build is, rock solid and reliable from day one? That brings us nicely to our second principle: build quality in.
Exactly. And this isn't about finding and fixing bugs after they happen, reactive.
Right, proactive.
It's about preventing them from ever occurring in the first place. Fundamentally maintaining a robust architecture right from the start. Imagine using automated unit tests, integration tests, even acceptance tests on every single code commit.
Wow, every commit.
That's how you catch defects incredibly early, preventing them from ever reaching your B2B customers. But it's also about what they call perceived integrity.
Perceived integrity.
Yeah, meaning the user's actual experience feels seamless. The interface is intuitive, performance is rock solid. Because for SaaS, trust and reliability are just paramount, aren't they?
Absolutely critical. The subscription depends on it.
Totally. So lean teams, they continuously refactor their code, keeping it clean, adaptable. They treat automated testing as an integral part of production, not some, afterthought you tack on at the end.
Right.
Investing in thorough code reviews, strong CI/CD pipelines.
Yeah.
It isn't just a technical best practice. It ensures that high uptime and reliability that are so critical for SaaS subscriptions and ultimately customer trust.
Yeah.
So we connect this to the bigger picture. Building quality in isn't just about code quality, is it? It's really about business survival and your reputation.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The third principle, create knowledge, sometimes called amplify learning. It reminds us that building software isn't just about execution, like ticking boxes. It's fundamentally about discovery and learning. How does thinking like that shift our approach?
Well, it fundamentally changes the risk profile of development.
How so?
Instead of making these big speculative guesses about what customers want, which is super risky, right? Teams are designed to continuously gather data and learn as they go. Think about releasing a minimal feature, an MVP.
A minimum viable product.
Right, specifically to get user feedback before you invest in building out its full functionality. Short iterations, frequent demos, rapid feedback loops, maybe through beta tests, A/B tests, or just talking to customers. Customer interviews, they become absolutely paramount.
So learning happens with the customer.
Exactly. The goal is for developers and customers to learn together. Customers clarify their needs by actually seeing working software, and developers can uncover better solutions based on that real interaction. The deeper insight, I think, is that this principle fundamentally changes the strategic agility for a B2B company in a competitive market.
Strategic agility. I like that.
Yeah. It shifts development from just a series of fixed tasks to a series of ongoing experiments. It lets you quickly pivot or maybe double down based on real market signals, reducing that colossal risk of building the completely wrong thing.
Okay, that continuous learning loop. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it brings us to the fourth principle. Defer commitment. Now, in the high uncertainty world of B2B SaaS, where, let's face it, investors often demand clarity and quick decisions.
Pressure's on.
How do you convince stakeholders that delaying a decision can actually be a strength, not, a sign of indecision?
Yeah, that's a critical challenge, isn't it? And Lean's answer is basically hold off on those key irreversible decisions until they can be based on actual facts, not assumptions, until what they call the last responsible moment.
The last responsible moment. Okay.
It's all about keeping your options open, building in flexibility rather than locking yourself into one solution too early. Consider a set-based approach.
That's better.
Yeah, instead of committing to just one technical path right away, you might say, parallel develop 2 quick prototype solutions for a really complex feature. You test them both, and only then do you choose the better one, after you have some real data.
Ah, okay. Comparing options.
Exactly. For a SaaS company, this could mean delaying a full database migration until your user usage patterns are crystal clear. Or maybe not committing to a single cloud provider until your capacity needs have truly solidified based on actual growth, not just projections. The insight here is that deferring commitment isn't about procrastination at all.
Right.
It's about actively managing risk by building flexibility into your system think modular architecture, feature flags, clean APIs. So those major commitments are validated by data, not just gut feeling or, the pressure of a roadmap deadline. You essentially gain optionality.
I love that framing building and flexibility as a risk management strategy.
Yeah.
That ties directly into our fifth principle, deliver fast. Now, it seems obvious that speed is good, right? Faster is better. But what's the deeper connection between rapid delivery and that learning process we just talked about?
It's fundamentally about shortening that learning loop we discussed.
Ah, okay. Back to learning.
Yeah, Lean places immense value on quick delivery precisely because it's the fastest way to get real feedback and therefore learn rapidly. In SaaS, this translates directly to shipping frequent, continuous releases, often small incremental improvements deployed maybe weekly or even daily in some cases.
Instead of the big bang releases.
Exactly. Instead of those massive, risky quarterly or annual updates. The sooner your customers see a working improvement, the sooner your team can gauge its real value or, importantly, its lack of value. This allows your product to evolve hand in hand with your customers' actual needs, which maximizes the time to value for them. And Lean teams achieve this speed by actively managing flow, often by limiting work in progress or WIP.
Limiting WIP.
Yeah. This ensures smaller batches of work move through the system much more efficiently, which accelerates both delivery and learning. They're intrinsically linked.
Okay, so we've talked about processes, speed, learning. But the sixth principle shifts focus quite dramatically to the human element. Respect people, which really means empowering the team. So what does this truly mean in practice for the people doing the actual work? And how does it foster more than just, good morale?
This one is, well, arguably the most crucial principle, I think. Lean views people as smart, creative problem solvers.
Not just cogs in a machine.
Exactly, not just resources to be managed. So product managers, leaders, they should empower and genuinely respect every team member, developers, designers, sales, support, everyone. How? By giving them clear purpose, trusting their technical decisions, and actively removing impediments that get in their way.
So less micromanaging.
Way less. For instance, instead of dictating a technical solution, let the engineers propose implementation strategies. Critically, give them direct access to customer pain points. Maybe involve them in customer interviews or listen in on sales calls.
Getting closer to the user.
Absolutely. This isn't just about making people feel good, though that's important. It's about tapping into the collective intelligence of your entire organization. A truly lean culture fosters incredible ownership and innovation, a place where every team member feels invested in improving both the processes and the product itself. And that leads to much more resilient and effective B2B solutions.
That's a really powerful way to unlock potential. Okay, and that brings us to our seventh and final principle. Optimize the whole. This zooms us out, broadening the perspective from individual teams and features to the entire system.
Right. This is about taking a true systems view. It means you optimize the entire workflow from the initial idea all the way through to delivering value to the customer, not just optimizing isolated parts or teams.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about fixing a systemic deployment bottleneck that's holding up all the teams. That's far more impactful system-wide than just improving the output of one specific development team, even if that team becomes hyper-efficient in isolation.
So looking for those cross-team constraints.
Exactly. It demands deep alignment across, well, everyone, engineering, product, marketing, operations, all working towards common goals like customer success and speedy, reliable delivery. You achieve this by tracking end-to-end metrics, things like the total lead time for changes, and by coordinating cross-functional improvements. The key insight here is that decisions should always favor overall customer outcomes and the long-term health of the organization, things like quality, team sustainability over maybe short-term gains for a single silo or department. If we connect this to the bigger picture, like you said, it's about seeing the forest and the trees, making sure everything works together seamlessly to serve your B2B customers effectively.
Okay, those 7 principles really lay a strong foundation for thinking differently about building B2B SaaS. Now, a question that comes up a lot, lean and agile. They're often discussed together, sometimes even used interchangeably. What's the nuanced relationship here? Are they basically the same thing? Are they different? Or do they fit together in some powerful way?
It's a fantastic question, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of confusion out there. They absolutely share many ideals, many values, but they tend to operate on slightly different levels. You can think of Agile, especially specific frameworks like Scrum, often as a delivery process.
A process, okay.
Yeah, it prescribes things like iterative sprints, specific roles like Scrum Master, Product Owner, and ceremonies like stand-ups and retrospectives, all designed to rapidly produce working software. Lean, on the other hand, is, I'd say, more of a mindset or a philosophy.
A mindset.
Right. It focuses broadly on what you build and how you work, with that overarching emphasis on eliminating waste and maximizing customer value, kind of regardless of the specific process you use to get there.
Okay, so if Agile gives you a structure for how to deliver, Lean is maybe more about the fundamental why and what you're delivering, guiding principles.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. Let's maybe look at a few key distinctions to make it clearer. When it comes to focus and flow, Lean really aims to optimize that entire value stream, right? Often using tools like Kanban boards and, critically, work-in-progress limits to ensure a smooth, continuous flow and minimize lead time.
Continuous flow.
Agile, meanwhile, tends to focus on adapting to change and delivering working increments within fixed time-boxed sprints. Both definitely value small batches, but Lean often sees it as more of a continuous pipeline, whereas Agile structures work into those distinct sprints.
Gotcha. And what about their approach to customer value? How does that differ?
Well, both definitely prioritize the customer, no question, but perhaps with a subtle difference in emphasis. Agile typically gathers feedback through things like sprint end demos, which is valuable, of course. Lean, however, really insists on putting only truly valuable features in front of the customer in the first place. It constantly challenges you. Are these the highest value features? Are they the ones that will truly move our core B2B metrics like trial conversion or retention? Or are we just, keeping busy?
That's a sharp distinction.
Yeah.
Busy versus valuable.
Exactly. So an agile team might deliver some slick new UI features regularly, and that's fine. But a lean perspective would really push back and question, is that what customers would truly pay for right now? Is it directly solving their most pressing business problem, or is it more of a nice to have?
That's a critical difference in discipline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, what about how decisions are made? The decision discipline, you mentioned Agile encourages quick decisions within sprints.
Right, adapting quickly within that sprint cycle. And lean, conversely, often advises deliberately deferring those key, irreversible decisions to collect more information, remember? The last responsible moment.
Ah, yes, defer commitment.
So while an agile team might replan specific features sprint by sprint, a lean-aware team might postpone choosing, say, a specific database technology until after they've prototyped capacity needs and gathered more real user data. But the beauty is, they can work together beautifully. Agile's micro decisions like tweaking backlog priorities within a sprint can mesh perfectly with Lean's macro deferment on bigger architectural or strategic choices.
So you use Agile to build quickly.
And Lean to ensure you're building the right thing efficiently.
Makes sense. And finally, the culture and structure. You said Agile often comes with defined roles and ceremonies.
Yeah, Scrum has its roles, its meetings, it's quite structured. Lean is generally much more cultural. It relies more on every single individual truly embracing those core principles like respect for people, continuous improvement. It's just part of their daily work, their mindset. The really powerful thing for B2B SaaS, I think, is blending both.
A hybrid approach.
Exactly. You can use agile structure, your daily stand-ups, your retrospectives for discipline and rhythm, and then use Lean's overarching philosophy to guide why you're doing them and what you should be focusing on during them. Many successful SaaS teams use these hybrid models, often called Scrumban or something similar, to really get the best of both worlds.
Okay, so to quickly summarize that bit,
Yeah.
maybe think of Lean as ensuring you're building the right thing efficiently, and Agile is giving you a repeatable process to build things quickly. Together, yeah, they sound like a powerhouse. Right, now that we understand the principles, the distinctions, what does this actually look like in practice for you, the listener? What are the actionable steps you can take, maybe starting tomorrow?
Okay, let's talk how to. First step, identify and eliminate waste. Sounds basic, but you need to really examine your product process end to end. A key tool here, as I mentioned, is a value stream map, VSM.
Right, the flow chart.
It's basically a flowchart, yeah. It helps you visualize every single step from an idea's inception all the way to its deployment into production dev, QA, release, customer feedback, the whole chain. You note down cycle times for each step, and critically, you highlight the delays, the waiting periods, the handoffs. It makes wastes like, say, manual approvals, unnecessary features that snuck in, or maybe redundant reviews. It makes them glaringly obvious.
So you can actually see the friction.
Precisely. For example, if your VSM shows that two different teams are continually retesting each other's work, well, that's a clear handoff waste just begging to be eliminated, isn't it? Okay, next up, implementing lean product discovery and development cycles.
Build, measure, learn.
That's the heart of it. Structure your development around that build, measure, learn loop. You start with a clear hypothesis, like adding this new analytics dashboard will increase engagement among our executive users. Then you build something minimal, a lightweight prototype, maybe just early wireframes, or a simple landing page to gauge interest, or even a feature rolled out to a tiny segment of users using a feature flag, just enough to test that hypothesis.
A minimum needed to learn.
Exactly. Then you rigorously measure actual usage or customer sentiment or specific business outcomes. And finally, you learn from that data and decide whether to pivot, maybe change direction, or persevere and build more. So instead of spending months on detailed specifications up front, a B2B SaaS team might build, say, a clickable demo or a working beta for just a handful of key customers.
Get real feedback early.
Get that real feedback before investing heavily in full development.
That emphasis on testing before fully investing, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But how do we ensure those tests are actually robust, that they deliver clear, reliable insights?
Great question. That's where rapid experimentation and validated learning comes in. The idea is to always test your significant ideas before a broad rollout. Use things like A/B tests or maybe concierge tests where you manually simulate the feature, or use automated feature flags to control exposure. A highly useful tool for structuring this is the experiment canvas.
Experiment canvas, okay.
Yeah, it's a simple template, really powerful. It helps you map out your core hypothesis, the underlying assumptions you're making, the specific design of your test, the metrics you'll track to define success, and your key learning objectives all on one sheet.
Keeps it focused.
Totally. For instance, you define something like hypothesis. Automating report exports will reduce churn by 5%. Assumptions. We believe 30% of our enterprise users currently do manual exports weekly. Experiment. Enable automated exports for a random 10% group of users in our power user segment for 1 month. Success metric. We'll call it a success if 85% of those users use the new export tool at least once within that month. A&D overall churn for that specific group decreases by at least 2% compared to a control group.
Very specific.
Right. This rigor ensures you get validated learning, not just opinions, and it prevents wasted effort by making sure you build only what's absolutely needed for the test and know exactly how you're going to measure success or failure. Okay, another crucial step is establishing really robust customer feedback loops. You want to shorten that loop significantly by integrating the constant voice of customer into every single iteration, every cycle.
How do you do that effectively?
Well, implementing various mechanisms. Things like short in-app surveys, maybe recording user sessions with permission, of course, tracking NPS, Net Promoter Score, and digging into comprehensive usage analytics. For example, after launching a new admin workflow, don't just mark it done. Actively check if the time on task for admins actually improved like you expected. Are there unexpected errors popping up in the logs? Then address those issues immediately.
Don't wait for the next planning cycle.
Exactly. And schedule regular check-ins, maybe quarterly business reviews with your key accounts to truly understand their evolving needs and challenges. Keep that dialogue open.
And to make all of this measurable, right, we need the right metrics. What are the key lean metrics we should be tracking, maybe beyond just traditional project metrics like story points?
Yeah, absolutely. You should be measuring 2 key things: the efficiency of your flow and the actual customer impact, not just superficial activity metrics. For process flow metrics, focus heavily on lead time. That's the total time from idea to release, the customer's view, and cycle time, the time from when work actually starts on a feature to when it's finished.
Lead time and cycle time, got it.
Shorter lead times directly indicate less waste in the system and faster time to value for the customer. Also track deployment frequency. How often are you actually shipping code to production? And MTTR, mean time to recover when things go wrong. Those are key parts of the DORA metrics framework, really valuable.
DORA metrics, right.
And then for customer impact, you need to monitor things like active user growth, feature adoption rates, or people using what you build, trial to paid conversion rates, NRR, net revenue retention, hugely important in SaaS customer churn, of course, and customer satisfaction scores like CSAT and NPS. And this really raises an important question for everyone listening. Are you measuring what truly matters to your customer's experience and your business's ultimate health?
A good challenge.
Because Leans specifically favors metrics like lead time and cycle time over, say, Agile's velocity or burn down charts. Why? Because lead time ties directly to how responsive you are to your customer's needs and how quickly you can actually deliver tangible business value.
Those are definitely powerful metrics to keep teams focused on real value, not just output. Okay, let's try and bring this to life a bit more with some real-world examples. Can you share some?
Absolutely. Consider Getty Images. This is a classic enterprise SaaS example. They had an internal IT team, kind of siloed, and they reorganized it into a cross-functional search squad practicing Scrum with lean principles. Within just 1 month, they delivered a working demo of a completely new search engine, something that was projected to take months longer under their old process.
Wow, 1 month versus months.
Yeah. This massive surge in productivity, driven by that cross-functional focus and iterative approach, actually led to a company-wide agile and lean rollout because the results were just undeniable. Then there's a company called PlanHub, a scheduling SaaS platform. They really used lean discovery techniques to nail their product market fit, instead of building out every conceivable feature up front based on assumption.
The build it and they will come fallacy.
Exactly. They launched a very minimal viable product, an MVP, focusing just on their core bidding feature. They gathered intensive inputs from those crucial initial users to refine it iteratively. This resulted in a much quicker time to market and, critically, a much better product market fit, avoiding potentially huge amounts of wasted development on functions nobody actually needed.
Smart, focused.
And then if you look at lean at scale, well, maybe not strictly B2B SaaS in all aspects, look at Spotify's engineering culture. Their model of autonomous squads continuously releasing features based directly on customer feedback and A/B testing. That's a fantastic reflection of core lean habits like iterative testing and rapid learning cycles. And of course, the whole lean startup methodology, championed by Eric Ries, with its focus on hypothesis-driven roadmaps, validated learning, MVPs that's broadly applied and incredibly successful within the enterprise SaaS world too.
Those examples really show how these principles translate into tangible real-world wins.
Hmm.
Okay, so just to quickly review some of those key tools you mentioned for the listener to maybe take away and explore using.
Definitely. These are practical tools you can start looking into right away. First, that value stream map, VSM, for visually identifying and understanding waste in your entire development process end to end. Then there's the A3 problem-solving report. It's a simple template, often just one page, that helps you document a specific problem, its root cause analysis, potential solutions, and an action plan. Keeps problem-solving really focused.
A3, okay.
The Lean Canvas. Fantastic for quickly articulating and testing your risky assumptions about a new feature or even a whole new product. It links customer problems to proposed solutions, key metrics, and your unique value proposition. The Experiment Canvas, which we discussed, provides that structured template for designing robust tests, laying out your hypothesis, assumptions, test design, and crucial success metrics.
Crucial for validated learning.
Absolutely. The Kanban board. A visual task board, probably familiar to many, that makes your workflow visible. Critically, it helps you limit work in progress, WIP, and immediately highlights bottlenecks in your flow. And don't forget the tech. Feature flagging and A/B test frameworks. These are essential technical tools for enabling safe, data-driven experimentation directly in your production environment. Finally, think about adopting practices like continuous discovery habits, maybe using frameworks like Teresa Torres's opportunity solution trees to ensure every feature really ties back to a genuine user need or opportunity. And of course, having good metrics dashboards to provide real-time tracking of both your flow metrics and those vital outcome metrics to guide your decisions.
Incredible. That's a great toolkit. So as we start to wrap up this deep dive today, what are the core actionable lessons? What's the real impact for our listener if they embrace lean thinking in their B2B SaaS context?
Okay, let me try and summarize a few key takeaways. First, focus on relentless value. Really ruthlessly eliminate any work your customers wouldn't actually pay for. Every feature should directly contribute to moving key business metrics, not just, add another item to the backlog.
Spot on. Value above all else.
Second, embed quality, don't just bolt it on. Automate your tests, refactor your code continuously, fix issues immediately. Because accumulating technical debt in B2B SaaS, that's a slow death sentence for customer trust and your ability to innovate.
It grinds everything to a halt eventually.
Third, make learning your core business. Treat every feature, every release as an experiment. Launch MVPs quickly, gather real data, and use those insights to steer your development. This dramatically boosts your strategic agility in the market.
Learn faster than your competitors. Fourth, empower the people doing the work. Trust your engineers, your designers, everyone on the team. Give them direct customer access whenever possible. Remove those bureaucratic impediments. Remember, a motivated, informed team is truly your greatest asset.
Couldn't agree more. Unleash their potential.
Fifth, limit work in progress, WIP. Use visual tools like Kanban to manage your workflow and spot those bottlenecks early. Smaller batches mean faster delivery, less context switching, making your team far more efficient and focused.
Flow is key.
Sixth, measure what truly matters.
Yeah.
Track those flow metrics, yes, lead time, cycle time, but always pair them with vital business signals like churn, net revenue retention, NRR, and NPS. Fast development means absolutely nothing if your customers aren't seeing value and sticking around.
Outcomes over output.
And finally, number 7, optimize the entire system, end to end. Look beyond just individual teams or departments. Optimize the whole value stream, from ideation right through development, operations, sales, customer success, ensuring every single part works together seamlessly to deliver outstanding value.
See the whole picture.
This has been a really comprehensive deep dive into lean software development, specifically for B2B SaaS. So what does this all mean for you as you move forward from today? I think it means that every single lean practice, every tool, whether it's mapping a value stream or running a simple A/B test, should ultimately drive home one guiding question. How does this specific action bring more tangible, measurable value to our customers and consequently to our business?
That's the core question, absolutely. And maybe just as a final thought, as you reflect on these principles, consider how applying just one of them, maybe starting small, whether that's taking an hour to map even a small part of your current workflow to find one tiny unnoticed waste. Or maybe turning that new product idea you have into a really quick, low-cost experiment just to validate one key assumption. Think about how even that small step could potentially dramatically shift your approach this week and maybe uncover some really unexpected learning opportunities you hadn't even considered.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.